Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Silva and I am your first year guru. So today we're going to be talking about how to make the most out of your first year. So let's jump into it. What are we going to do today? Let's see. So first we're going to be talking about some useful habits that do not pertain to the slides after that one. So the next slide will be about who we should talk to and for what reasons. Advising appointments. So we're going to be talking about why advising appointments are very important and what you can get out of it. Exploration. So we're going to explore some things that we should definitely look into, because not only will it help you for the future, but you're also going to be able to help an organization, and that always looks better on your resume for the future. All right, let's go. Useful habits. Okay. So these are 3 useful habits that I really want you guys to try out. So the first one, get used to checking your emails. That's really important because on your emails, not only will teachers be sending announcements for all the things that you have to do for that week, but you're going to get some opportunities. You're going to be sent opportunities from various entities. So let's say an organization wants to recruit some people. Maybe you'd be interested in something like a tournament. I know that the rec does lots of tournaments, video games or actual sports, and I know that sometimes other organizations like sororities will reach out to some people. And so getting used to checking your emails will allow yourself to basically know what's going on with the university, and you won't be missing opportunities that could alter your whole life. And so that's the first tip. The second habit is 1-day dedication. So what I mean by that is dedicate 1 day to one thing. So an example of this would be my first semester, my first year actually. I would dedicate one day out of the week just for my classes. So what I did was, after my morning class, I would go straight to the library and I would do all the work for that week on that one day. Well, at least most of it. So the day that I chose was Monday, because on Sunday, most of my teachers would tell me, hey, this is what you have to do for the week. So that's why on Sunday night, I would plan what I was going to do and plan what assignments I was going to prioritize. So then when it came on Monday, after my 8 a.m. class, I would go to the library and then do all the work. I would do all the little things first and then focus on the big things towards the end of the day. And I didn't necessarily have to finish everything because I had the rest of the week to do whatever those big assignments were. And so I think that if you were to also do something like this, not only will it free up a lot of time for yourself to do any activities that you like or just to have some free time, but it's going to help you get yourself organized and be successful. So the third habit is to use a planner or a to-do list. Something that I use was I get a calendar and I just list the things that I want to do on that day. So getting something that helps you stay organized is something that's going to help you be successful. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so these are the people you have to talk to. You have to talk to your peers and your teachers. So let's focus on the peers first. So something that helped me was I would talk to some of my peers, and they saved me from being a loner in the corner. So one time I was going to see a volleyball game, right? And I went a lot earlier than my friend group. And so at the doorway, that's when I realized that they weren't there. And so I looked at the stands to see like who was there, like where would I sit? And then I saw my friend just sitting by himself. And so I went up to him and asked, like, who's sitting here? And he said no one, that he's waiting for his friends as well because he came a lot earlier than they did. And so, because I reached out to him before that, because I became his friend before that, now he and I were not loners in the corner. He and I got to have a good conversation, and we also got to watch part of the game before both of our groups came around the same time. And so, because we reached out to each other, we basically did not feel awkward being alone or anything like that. And so that's just one example of the 100 other examples I could give you. Oh, textbook info. So a lot of the times, you're gonna have peers that are either have taken the classes that you want to take or are going to take the same classes as you. So a lot of the times there's different resources that provide textbooks. Sometimes your friends offer to just give you a textbook that they used. And even if it's like even if your teacher requires like the 11th edition, they'll still accept the 10th edition, the ninth edition, sometimes even the 8th edition. So even if the textbook is kind of outdated, sometimes your teacher will allow that and they'll be fine with that. So reaching out to your friends, getting to know them, they're going to help you with any way that they can. Food, yes. There was my previous semester, this last one, during the spring, I had back-to-back classes just because that was the only thing that would fit in my schedule. And so I wasn't able to eat lunch during those classes, but I had a friend in my second class, and she would offer, because I would sometimes I would say like, man, I'm a little bit hungry. Uh, Sometimes she would offer me food, uh, and that helped a lot. That helped out a lot. That way I could focus on my classwork. And because I reached out to her like the first day during the semester, her and I would sometimes eat in class, and she would share food with me, and I'm super grateful for that. Don't worry, I did return the favor. Extracurriculars, yes, this is also important because when it comes to applying for anything, whether it be for a job or for graduate school, or even to your program like nursing or education, extracurriculars are a big plus in their eyes. So getting out there, doing extracurriculars, and you don't have to do it super often, just doing it like once a week, once every 2 weeks, just doing some extracurriculars, not only to, take off the stress, but just to enjoy yourself is really nice. One thing that I did was I was playing racquetball. One of my friends introduced it to me, and there were other people that also played racquetball. And so one time after I finished with my friend, some other racquetball players approached us and asked like, "Hey, you guys look good. Let's play sometime." And so we actually exchanged phone numbers, and sometimes we would go with those guys and just have fun with them. So not only did I make new friends, but I made new connections because they don't have the same major as I do. And so let's say 10 years from now, I I I need an engineer to help me fix something. Three of those guys were engineers. And so possibly they could help me in the future. Not only that, but it's always good to have someone to hang around with, uh, whether it be doing your extracurricular, your hobby, or just to hang out with. And so those are just some examples of how your peers could help you. All right. Oh, and job advice. This is also super important. Uh, Two of my friends actually helped me through the process of getting this job. They helped me become your guru. And so during the process, I asked them, like, hey, what papers do I have to fill out? or how long should I expect to wait for them to reply back? And through that process, both of my friends helped me out. Whatever they said, it was on point and exact. They said you have to turn in this paper, that one, and this one as well. And then when it came to the time, they were spot on. They said you have to wait 2 or 3 days. On the third day, I was replied to. I was replied to. And so just having conversations with your peers, becoming friends with them, and a whole lot of opportunities open up to you and becomes a lot easier for you to get in. All right, so for teachers, do get to know them. And so this is super important because I know that I was one of the people who would not talk to my teachers in high school, but now I've started to talk to my teachers at the university, and it makes the classes a lot easier, and it makes the teacher appreciate your presence a lot more. And when that happens, not only is the quality of your classes going to be a lot better, but they'll become more understanding. Let's say one day, if this was in person, uh, or actually let's do an online example. Let's say one day your internet is not working because your neighbor is getting the same type of internet, and the workers, when they helps your neighbor get some Wi-Fi, it kind of messed up yours. So let's say you had a test that day, and that was the due date. Well, you could email your professor, and because your professor knows that you are engaging in their class, that you are trying to, get the best grade that you can, they're going to be more understanding for you, and so they might extend the due date just for you. So that's one example. So this is how you should get to know them. Whenever you make an appointment, or if you just go into their office hours, these are some things that you can talk about. In their office, usually they're going to have like a picture or a little statue that says something about them. You could ask them, oh, where'd you go in that picture? Where is that? Or do you like to hike? Do you like to travel? And so talking about their interest is always a good way to start a conversation. And so where have they been? Exactly. Like you can like look at a picture and you can say, oh, he likes to hike, he likes to kayak, something like that. How to get to a certain spot. This is also important as well. Let's say your instructor was at one point something that you want to be. I know that one of my English professors, he has been in so many states. And so I asked him like, hey, how are you able to transfer to all these different states? And well, he said that he told me that a certain position allowed him to do that. And so then I could ask him, well, do you know any way that I could get to that spot? Do you recommend anything that I should do before I get there? So not only are they going to help you with your class, but they can help you with lots of other things as well. Oh, and asking their opinion on something is always something that they like to do. After all, they are instructors, they are professors, they like to profess whatever they are interested in. And helping guide you, yes, like I said, they can help you guide you not only in life, not only in their class, but also in whatever classes that you want to take. So I know that I'll actually give you an example in the next part, in the next slide. All right, so advising appointments, yes. Know what classes you want to take, that you want to do. Look into a minor, and then ask your advisors who to talk to and what resources are available. Okay, so let's look at the first bullet. Know what classes you want to do. So like I said in the last slide, your teachers are gonna be able to help you look at what classes will be good for the future. Your advisors are gonna have a lot more detail, a lot more information about more classes than your teachers. Your teachers will have lots of information on their subject, but your advisors are going to have a lot of information about most subjects. And so they're going to have a lot more information on whatever classes uh, are available and whatever classes you need in order to graduate, in order to get your bachelor's. Because sometimes a class will look like it will fulfill something with your bachelor's, but it does not. So going to your advisor, making these appointments is super crucial in order to save time, in order to save money. A mistake that I did was I did not uh, get advice before coming into college. And so my first semester I actually took 3 classes that I do not need. And because of that, I wasted hundreds of dollars. I wasted a whole semester uh, on classes that I didn't need. So going to those advising appointments, getting advice from an advisor is super crucial, not just to save time, but also to save money. So look into a minor, yes, this is super important. A minor does not have to relate to what you want to the position you want to get to. Let's say someone wants to be uh, a coder, someone who codes, right? So that would be something like a computer science major. But you're interested in dance. You could get a minor in dance. And having a minor in something that you're interested in that can become a hobby is also super important. Like I said earlier in this presentation, having a hobby, having multiple hobbies, having anything that does not relate to whatever you're doing is always super good whenever you want to apply to something in the future, whether it be a job, graduate school, anything. So yes, the next bullet, what people to talk to, what tools and resources are available. Your advisors, like I said, are going to have a lot of information, not just on the classes, but also uh, the people that are in charge of those classes, the people that create courses. Let's say you want a course that is not provided at UTRGV right now. If you're guided to the right person, and if you get enough people that also want that same class, you could actually create a class. And so that's something that's amazing. That's a lot of power. As long as you get enough people, that's a lot of power that you could create a new course. As long as you are guided to the right person. Your advisor is someone that could definitely guide you the right way. What tools and resources are available? So your advisors are not just going to talk about resources on campus, they're also going to talk about resources that are not necessarily on campus. So they can, let's say you want to get clinical hours in order to go to med school. One example that my advisor told me was that she told me that I should go to local hospitals. I should go to local nursing homes. And so she provided me some of the places that her previous advisees went to. And so that opens up a lot of opportunity for me as an individual. And so your advisors are going to be able to do the same things for you. So it's super important to get those advising appointments. Next slide. Yes, exploration. So these are the things that you should explore on campus. The resources, the events that the campus offers, and organizations that are within in the campus. So the reasons why you should do this is because, for one, first bullet, it's a good way to network. Networking is something that is very new to me, and it might be new to you guys as well. Networking is basically getting to know the people you have to know in order to get to the next step that you want to get to. And so networking is super important because it makes the process a whole lot easier because you're going to know what to do and you're going to have people in those organizations that can help you. So instead of just having a foot in the door, you're going to have a whole leg. And so another resource that we have is counseling. You don't have to have any sort of illness to get counseling. Counseling is actually very, very useful. I went there my second semester and I just had a conversation with the counselor. Nothing crazy. I wasn't going crazy or anything like that. We just had a conversation. And for some reason, having that conversation with the counselor made that semester a whole lot easier. I didn't necessarily change any of my habits or anything like that, but I think that just talking about certain things will help you out. And so if you don't have anyone to reach out to, if you don't have, uh, if you're not comfortable with talking with, some of your friends, if you're not comfortable with talking about something with your teacher or your parents, going to counseling is super important, is super helpful, and super effective. Homework help. So the writing center is, I know that during the summer it was open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And so with the writing, homework help is something that the campus is really big on. So don't hesitate to reach out to these resources that you have. Uh, when I went to get to the writing center, my lab report was a whole lot better. So I didn't necessarily have to change the format. What changed was the way that I was sending out my message. So what you're going to learn is that a lot of the stuff you learned in high school, you're going to have to change all of that. You're literally starting from scratch once you're entering the university level, because everything is going to be a lot different. So going to these resources where you have students that have gone through what you're going to go through is super important. So the Writing Center and the Learning Center and the Career Center are just three of the three examples of all the resources we have on campus. And so yes, I have the times that these resources were open in the summer. They're going to extend those hours for once the fall semester begins. So although these are accurate, they're accurate for the summer sessions. They're going to be extending these hours for the fall semester. So interview help. Interviews are going to be the first impressions you make for whatever you want to apply to, whether it be a job, for graduate school, or even to get into an organization. Interview help is super crucial for not just now, but for the future. So getting that help is extremely important, because like I said, it's the first impression, and a first impression does affect a lot of what's going to happen for the future after that. And so getting that help for the interviews is super crucial. I know that the communication department has a resource where they do mock interviews for whatever you'd like to get interviewed for, whether it be a job or an application to graduate school or med school. There's a whole lot of things. As long as you give them the information, they're going to be able to help you with that. All right, guys. So thank you for hopping onto this presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that I could give you some vital information that you will be able to use your first year and also the years following that as well. So, adios, vaqueros.